Hey, 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 it's AAA Wednesday, which is my weekly Ask Alyssa Anything session and my opportunity to thank my amazing community of wonderful subscribers. In these sessions, I'm responding to questions you have about the publishing industry and strengthening your story. And it's a way for me to give back, hopefully, and speak a bit more directly to some of your situations and concerns. I know how challenging the book writing and publishing space is, especially right now, and I want you to know I'm here to help you through it. Before we get into today's questions, some housekeeping. I promise I'll keep it short and sweet. Number one, hit that subscribe button if you haven't joined this amazing community of authors. I promise you won't regret it. And number two, it would really help out my channel if you hit that thumbs up button. It does something with the YouTube algorithm that boosts my videos, so I would really appreciate it. Let's dive into the first question today. Can you give us a brief rundown of the various abbreviations used in the publishing world? I noticed there's a lot of acronyms for various different things / genres on Query Tracker. While some I could figure out, others were trickier. The publishing industry does use quite a few specific industry acronyms or abbreviations, so let me go through some of the most common ones. The most common is probably MS for manuscript, and you might see that in all caps or both lowercase. And if you're talking about multiple manuscripts, we say MSS. This was an abbreviation that we used pretty constantly, both when I was at a literary agency and when I was at Random House. Another one you might see is WIP for work in progress, which is just an unfinished manuscript, but more likely you would see MS. Now, for genre abbreviations or acronyms, you'll see SFF, which is science fiction / fantasy. And other than that, we typically use the acronyms for age category. So MG is middle grade, YA is young adult, and NA is new adult, which is the age range right after YA, say early 20s. But let me know if there's any specific acronyms that you've come across in Query Tracker or otherwise, and I'd be happy to let you know what they mean. Before we get into the next question, I wanted to let you know about a free resource I created specifically for my YouTube community. It is called my Story Self-Assessment Worksheet, and it's a fun, simple resource designed to help you take a look at your work in progress from a different angle and help you identify what's working well in it, as well as what could be improved on the next draft. And downloading that resource is going to sign you up for my newsletter where I interview publishing industry insiders and successfully published authors. And I'm telling you, they're giving some amazing tips that I don't want you to miss out on. If you want to go straight to the newsletter, the link is also in the description. Here's the next question. A while back, I attended a writer's conference and met with an agent that fell in love with my sample work and asked to see the entire manuscript. Following the conference, I emailed her the whole manuscript, and she said it would be a while before I heard from her, with no actual time frame listed. Months passed, and I heard nothing. Finally, after 8 months, I emailed her to inquire about my manuscript, only for her to inform me she had left agenting for a new career almost 6 months earlier and did not tell me. Is this situation the norm for when an agent leaves agenting and they have a potential client waiting in the wings? Also, when an agent doesn't give you a time frame for when you might hear back, how long should someone wait before emailing them, assuming they haven't gotten back to you yet about the status of your manuscript? First, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. This is a huge bummer, and you must have felt so disappointed that you waited 8 months only to realize that for 6 of those months, the agent hadn't even been agenting anymore. Now, I haven't heard of this particular situation before. When I was in the industry and an agent left, that was very well communicated to certainly any author that was on their list and to people who had been in contact with them. That would be the professional thing to do, right? And I'm so sorry that you weren't informed of this agent's career change. It does sound like it was a lapse in communication and it was something that they mishandled on their part. I would not say that this is by any means the norm in the industry. Now, what is kind of the norm in the industry is waiting months to hear back on whether an agent likes your manuscript or not. I know this doesn't feel good because they responded to your query and they requested the full manuscript, so you feel like they're going to get to it really quickly, and in some cases they do, right? But in many instances, an agent has a backlog of other manuscripts that they've also requested, as well as, remember, client work that they need to prioritize. So It is not at all uncommon for you to not hear back from agents who have requested your manuscript, even for a couple months. That said, any level-headed, respectable agent is not at all going to be turned off if you send them a nudge, say maybe 2 or 3 months after you've given them the full manuscript. You can feel free to send a gentle follow-up email. Of course, don't be particularly aggressive in that email unless you did get an offer from another agent who wants to extend representation. In that case, it is standard for you to go back to any other agent who is considering your work and give them a time frame to respond, typically about 2 weeks. But other than that, I wouldn't put any time frame on the email you send to them. Agents are truly just extremely backlogged with queries and manuscripts to review, and their client work is always going to come first. But a gentle reminder about your manuscript and asking them if they have had a chance to review it is not going to do you any harm at all. And hopefully it will bump your email up and you'll get an update from the agent. Here's a 2-part question. 1, is there somewhere to find a query letter template? I need to see an example so that I can get mine completed. If you Google query letter template, you will find many blog articles, including actual template query letters that you can follow. I have another video with a breakdown of every single paragraph that your query letter should include, so I will put that in the description here. I don't have an actual template of the language, but I do talk about the order of the paragraphs and what they all need to include. Here's the next question. Is there anything different that Christian nonfiction authors need to do when querying agents? The biggest thing with Christian publishing, whether that is on the nonfiction or the fiction side, is just to make sure that you are reaching out to agents that specifically work within the Christian publishing realm. That's because Christian publishing houses operate a bit differently than the big 5 publishing houses that publish more mainstream, non-religious books. So you want to make sure that you're working with an agent who has relationships with those particular publishers. Your process will look very similar in you will secure a literary agent, get a book deal, negotiate rights, all of that, but you will be operating with Christian publishers specifically. So agents who work with Christian publishers will specify in their bios, in their profiles, that they are seeking Christian fiction and or nonfiction. So those would be the agents for you to target. The last question here isn't actually a question, but I wanted to call it out anyway. I've been a subscriber since the beginning of the channel in 2020. Please, please, please write and self-publish a book on the craft of writing. I guarantee it'll sell like crazy. Plus, you'll be helping a lot of people who need it. First, I just wanted to thank you so much for being with my channel for so long. When I think about the videos I posted in 2020, I admittedly cringe a little bit inside. So thank you for sticking with me through the bad filming, through the terrible audio and all of that. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your comment that you think a book on the craft of writing written by me would be useful to you. I've admittedly thought about maybe down the line writing a book, but I do not have anything in the works right now. So let me know in the comments if you would be interested in a book by me and what kind of stuff you would want me to talk about in that book. I definitely don't want to stop doing my videos, so I'd have to figure out a way to maybe incorporate the content I've already put in my videos or do something a little bit different in the book to make sure I'm giving you new and valuable information, especially if it would be in a book format that you would have to purchase. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions today. And if you have something you'd like to ask, drop it in the comments here and it will be added to my queue. Before you head out, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and grab your free story self-assessment worksheet and check out my newsletter link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching and happy writing.